What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Rideshare Hub. My name's Greg. Hope you guys are all doing good out there, staying safe. What a wild time in humanity. So we're back on the topic of the unemployment benefits. We're going to be hitting this really hard over the next week. The main thing we've been seeing a lot of confusion from is a lot of you don't believe you can actually file for the unemployment benefits. I think, and I don't see any reason why people wouldn't think that, because in the past, Uber and Lyft never gets included in anything. I've even had troubles in the past just getting banks to consider it verifiable income, you know? So I feel like we're all trained to assume that we get a little shortchanged because of the gig working we do for Uber and Lyft. So biggest thing is, guys, yes, you can apply. So here's the main reason why you can apply, because all this stimulus bill really says is that if you need to self-isolate for safety reasons, for preventative measures, or if you're feeling symptoms yourself, that's all you need. Like, that's literally all you're entitled to. That is literally every single one of you, because think about it. Every day you go into your car and pick people up, like, you really are risking for yourself, but also for other people, because you could be a carrier and not even realize it. So it's not even like we need to go shove a load of BS in these guys' mouths and be like, hey, you know, we're all just going to apply for this because we want the money. I'm sure we all do. We're all scared. But the main thing is, like, it's actually a really legitimate reason. And I think a lot of people have had this hard time with the separation or the differentiation in their heads, because it's like, but I could still go work. I could still go drive. I could still go drive right now. Am I? Heck no. I'm not risking that. I'm not going out there and all that craziness, especially for, like, no money. And honestly, at this point, like, you guys should all have the same mindset, because there's so many things happening that are going to help us and help get us through these seasons and take care of us. And so don't risk it for $5-6 an hour. These are mega companies, and Uber was very adamant that they were prepped for this. They had plenty of money to get through this. You know, they've been kind of screwing us over for years, so there's no reason why you shouldn't take some unemployment money from them, especially when driving right now really is one of the dumbest things you can do. Like, let's just call it what it is. Going out in public and giving people rides in a tight space like a car is just not smart. And any doctor is going to tell you that. Anyone who believes in this at all and believes in self-isolation is going to tell you Uber and Lyft drivers should probably do it more than almost anyone. Right up there with every other major transportation person, bus drivers, pilots, flight attendants. Like, even though those businesses are still operating a little bit, but Uber and Lyft is still operating a little bit, you know? But if I were you, I wouldn't be one of those 1% drivers that's going out there and just, you know, not making any money. I would apply for unemployment benefits. I would apply for sick pay. I would definitely make sure my taxes were filed to get the stimulus check. What I'm really trying to show you guys is this all applies to every single one of you. This isn't, there's like really no disclusion to any of us as Uber and Lyft drivers for this, unless you haven't even driven for Uber and Lyft in like 6 months. Then none of this really applies to you. But if you're a somewhat consistent driver, this applies to you, and you should take advantage of it. So I did mention the sick pay. I want to touch on that real quick. This is something that just came to my attention, but I know a lot of us thought we weren't going to be able to get any money for like sick pay from Uber and Lyft, but that has really not been the case. It almost seems like they were trying to make sure drivers didn't hear about this, because there were so many articles and news clippings that were saying, oh, what are the, you know, rideshare drivers going to do? Who's going to take care of them? Because God knows Uber and Lyft don't. And the reality is they've actually had a system in place that is pretty easy to get money from. Basically, what they've had is this little system that just said, hey, we're going to give you money, but you got to apply before April 6th if you're on the Lyft platform, and April 10th if you're on the Uber platform. But here's the catch, guys. All you need to get sick pay from them is like a 2-sentence doctor's note saying that due to risk of outbreak or risk of spreading or risk of getting it yourself, you shouldn't be driving right now. So if you call any doctor's office and you pretty much just say, hey, I had a dry cough, do you think I should self-isolate from work? They're going to be like, yeah, you 100% should. And then you say, okay, do you think you could write me a 2-sentence letter saying you're my healthcare provider and advising my employer to have me not work right now or something like that? They're probably going to say yes to that too. And then guess what? You submit that to Uber and Lyft and they have to give you sick money. And I'm pretty sure, I haven't done it myself because I did every other thing and I was like, I really don't think I'm going to need that, so I'm not going to milk the system that much. But from what I've heard from other drivers is then they're getting paid based on what their performance was on average over the last 6 months. So if you averaged $15 an hour, I'm guessing that what they were saying to me is that you're getting then $15 an hour for what your average hours were. So if you averaged 30 hours a week, I'm pretty sure what they were saying to me was that you would get 30 hours of work at $15 an hour. That's a good chunk of money, you know? So it's going to depend on what you did, but it's adding extra money for you to be taken care of. One thing I didn't touch on that I've been touching on in every video, but I wanted to say from the get-go how you apply for those of you that don't know. So to apply is very simple. You just Google your state and then something like unemployment insurance benefits, and the first link should be what you're looking for. Like I said, it varies state by state. Some states haven't even rolled it out yet, so you want to still do it and be on the waiting list and everything, but just keep in mind, actually, I don't think there's a waiting list. I think some states haven't opened and you can't apply till it opens. But if you're in one of the states where you can't apply yet, you want to be monitoring that like crazy. And the second it opens, you want to be one of the first to apply. There are over 10 million unemployment filings in the last like 1 or 2 weeks, I believe. So you can imagine how many people are doing this right now, a crazy amount. So you want to be as high up on the list as you can and as well taken care of as you can. That being said, you really should be able to get a lot of money out of what's going on. You should be able to get sick pay. You should be able to get unemployment insurance. And you should be able to, and then literally almost everyone should be getting a stimulus check of $1,200 or more if you have kids or whatever else. You pretty much just have to be making less than $75,000 a year for that. Guess what? I'm very confident in saying probably every Uber driver. I meet guys all the time, they're like, oh yeah, I made $80K last year. I'm like, oh, I bet you did. Bet after gas and all the expenses you made $80K. Maybe if you worked 80 hours a week every week. I really don't believe anybody's making more than 75. But I've seriously had so many drivers tell me that, but you know, once you really break everything down, you're not making 75 grand a year driving for Uber. I'm sorry. There's just no way, like I said, unless you are doing insane hours. But if you're working like a normal human being and doing 40, 50 hours max, you're not making that money. I will flat out guarantee it. So my point being, you should all be getting a stimulus check of at least $1,200. That should be the bottom line of how much money you make from all this. Only thing you got to do is file your taxes. So if you haven't filed your taxes yet, do that pronto. But yeah, so go to your state website, Google that. It took me a while to actually figure out. I actually fooled around on the site for about 20 minutes before I actually figured out how to do it. After that, it was a pretty simple form, just filling out your basic information, why you're not working, when you stopped. It's very, very, very easy. So I'm going to wrap up the video now. I want to say this real quick though, we're going to do everything we can to get you guys super, super good information the second it comes out. You want to be subscribed to the channel right now more than ever. We're not giving you any advice on driving because there's no point. No one's really driving right now. I just hope you guys see more than anything that for Dylan and I and everyone else at the Rideshare Hub, that's the biggest priority right now. That's the only value we can really offer to you guys right now is just saying, hey, we're going to show you guys how to get as much money out of this as you can so that you and your families can be safe and healthy and mainly so that, like, I've done Uber and Lyft for years. Like, it is a weirdly depressing job if you do it excessively. So I love the thought of you guys getting to take mini vacations and have sick money and stuff coming in and focus on other things. And if I can help you guys do that and stay safer, that's all that matters. So I'm telling you guys, subscribe now so you can stay up to date with everything we're doing. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video.